βγαίνει.
Βγαίνει και θέλει, αλλά λέει reboot.
Πώς έλεγα να πονίδι.
Είδα σούτια. Insert σούτια here.
Εγώ 2,5 ώρες.
Τον είδε να κοιμάται στο αεροπλάνο για λίγο.
Έλα, τα κατέβα τέταρτο.
Τι είναι αυτός ο λεκές?
Έκανα ξυπνάδα. Έτσι πως κάτω καφέ. Κάνω αυτό. Δεν ξέρω τι θα ακολουθήσει μέσα στο 23, αλλά αποκλείεται να υπάρξουν άλλες 5 τόσο ανόητες στιγμές μου. Σκητάνει άλλη που τρεφάς. Λέει ποιος είναι ρε, ποιος έρχεται, τι είναι αυτό. Λερωμένος εγώ σαλέτσος. Μεταγραφή στην Ίντερ.
Σαύρο Μίλο.
Μιλάνο, πρώτη φορά στην Ιταλία. Θέλω να ενημερώσω εδώ το φανατικό μου κοινό που με ακολουθεί. Παράξενο για μένα, πολυταξιδεμένος γάρ. Έμελε η μοίρα να έρθω πρώτη φορά εδώ με την αγαπημένη μου ομάδα και το επιτελείο και τον Μπάκα. Πρέπει να ενημερώσουμε τον κόσμο κάποτε από πού προήλθε και ποιος είναι ο άνθρωπος ο οποίος έβγαλε αυτό το παρατσούκλι. Μπακαλιάρος.
Όταν τον κάνει συνέντευξη.
Δύσκολο το κόβω. Αν μας βλέπει, μας βλέπει γιατί είναι φανατικός.
Τι είναι αυτούς που έχουμε γυρίσει όλο το αεροδρόμιο του Μιλάνου και σε όλες τις βαλίτσες.
Εγώ δεν κουβαλάω τίποτα, καλύτερα που κουβαλάω έτσι. Δεν έχω θέμα, μου αρέσει η βολή.
Ο Αριστείδης παίζει ένα από αυτούς που θα πηγαίνουν στο σούπερ μάρκετ και θα κάνουν και τα memes. Μόνο για να πάρουν το κατσίκι και να κάνουν πόλη γύρω-γύρω στους τρόπους.
Πολύ ωραίο σούπερ μάρκετ, η αλήθεια.
Φιλνό, είναι πολύ ωραίο.
Πάμε να πάρουμε το αμάξι που έχουμε νοικιάσει, αλλά δεν το βρίσκουμε. Το πρόγραμμα μας είναι πολύ στενό. Πρέπει οπωσδήποτε να μην χάσουμε καθόλου χρόνο, να πάμε λίγο στο ξενοδοχείο, να αφήσουμε τα πράγματα και μετά να πάμε κατευθείαν στο Φαμπρίτσιο που μας περιμένει. Ποτέ, αλλά δεν.
Τι αυτοκινητάρα μας έκλεισε.
Σαν κασκάρι, φίλε. Αλλά ωραίο όμως.
Καινούργιο.
Δες εδώ Νίουτα. Τι λες, λέγε. Τι κρίμα που θα το καταστρέψουμε γιατί θα ρίξουμε τα καθίσματα για να βάλουμε τις άντες.
Τι δεν σε βλέπω να έχεις όρεξη, τι έγινε.
Τι λες, ρε. Να σου πω κάτι, τι είναι να έχεις κοιμηθεί 3 ώρες, να σηκώνεσαι και να πας να κάνεις συνέντευξη. Ζω το νερό. Και εγώ την προηγούμενη μέρα να είμαι με τον Κατσουράνη, με ένα πρωταθλητή Ευρώπης.
Για πες μου στο πρόβλημά σου, Κράβ.
Εδώ πέρα αυτή η αηδία έχει το 4G που γράφει. Έχει 15.000 γραμμές. Και πάλι δεν μπαίνει ίντερνετ, ρε, να του σπάσω το κολοκυθό.
Σπάστο να ξεχμάνεις.
Κάποιο λοιμό δεν φοράει ζώνη.
Εμείς οι δύο σίγουρα.
Ωραία. Μήπως θα προσπαθήσετε να φορέσετε ένα από τα δύο λιμά.
Αδύνατον. Λέει Πίτζο, το είχε που χάθηκε, λέει μέχρι γάτο τον σκύλο σκύλο, βγήκα έξω το φώναζα, Πίτζο, τσίπσα, Πίτζο.
Και όλο αυτό ξεκίνησε να το συζητάμε επειδή έβγαλες έξω τα χέρια σου και θα γινόταν μαζευτική. Ναι, ποιος είναι. Έχει κρύο. Πόσους βαθμούς έχει?
Πιστεύω 3 με 5.
3 με 20.
Ένα μαγαζί να βρούμε adapter για τις μπρίζες, γιατί δεν έχεις άλλες μπρίζες.
Τι άλλες μπρίζες έχουμε? Θέλω να βρίσω και σκέφτομαι μετά ότι άμα δεν θα πει τίποτα. Ο παλιακός σκηνοθέτης είναι, μας είπε να κάνουμε την τέτοια. Τη Βίρνα Δράκου, να πάμε εδώ στα περιστέρια για να αρχίσουμε να τα ταΐζουμε.
Λέμε τώρα για
Τραγική κατάσταση.
Δηλαδή φόσκολες, κανονικά φόσκολες.
Σίγουρα είναι ντόμο αυτή. Εμείς είμαστε όρθιοι.
Κάναμε και ακόμα ένα τικ στο χάρτη.
Όπου πυροβολήσαμε ηλικία.
Επίσης να πούμε εδώ πέρα ότι είναι κοντά η οδός με τα ακριβά μαγαζιά. Μπορείς να δείξεις εσύ, φίλε μου, Ράφα.
Να δείξουμε μπύρολ. Μπύρολ.
Τι μπύρολ? Τι σημαίνει μπύρολ?
Σέιλα! Έχουμε τη Σέιλα εδώ μαζί μας. Έλα, πες, ήθελες να είσαι εδώ?
Ξέρεις τι είπε, ότι δεν σου πάρει τσάντα. Ναι, εσύ θες, τι θα γίνει είναι το θέμα.
Τσάντα θέλω.
Καλά, περίμενε τσάντα. Θες να πεις λίγο τι γίνεται εδώ?
Δεν θα έχουμε ούτε χέρια να το χαιρετήσουμε.
Λοιπόν, έχουμε φτάσει μισή ώρα πριν τη συνέντευξη. Που ήρθαμε εδώ, δεν μας είπε φυσικά ελάτε πάνω. Εντάξει, είναι και ντίβα έτσι. Και είχε μια φαϊνή ιδέα ο Κράβας να στήσουμε τα φώτα και όλα και να μπούμε σαν κάτι τελετές.
Ούτε ξέρουμε πού θα κάτσουμε, τι δεν θα κάτσουμε. Δεν υπάρχει να βγει στους χρόνους που θέλει αυτό τώρα.
Ναι, γιατί έχουμε μία ώρα σκάρτη.
Είναι πολύ πιεστικό η αλήθεια.
Τις φάτσες μας βγάζουμε, τις φάτσες μας. Κάτι γίνεται μέσα τώρα. Γίνεται σούμου του. Μιλάνε τώρα 3 Ιταλίδες που δεν μιλάνε γρήγορα αγγλικά. Με τον Γκράβα, ο οποίος μιλάει αγγλικά.
Και τους λέει αυτό θα το πάρω, λέει, και θα πάω, λέει.
Νιώθω σαν να παίζετε μάτς μπροστά μας και να μην μπορούμε να το δείξουμε.
Να μπούμε για μανουρά.
Να μπούμε για μανουρά.
Si vieni l'amministratore, stare un po', non stare al freddo.
Sì, κλείς την κάμερα.
Δεν λέει αυτό. Camera is problem.
Problem zia anche di quella roba lì.
Ναι.
Μπορούμε να πάμε πάνω, εκεί που είναι στο εαυτό του. No. 1:40. 1:40. 1:40.
Έλα, μπείτε εσείς.
Παίρνουμε πίσω ό,τι είπαμε.
Δεν ξέρουμε τι έγινε. Δεν παίρνει
Ναι,
πάρει ακόμα.
ακούστηκε ότι μίλησε με τον Κράβα και του είπε: δηλαδή ο Κράβας πήγε σε το παιδί σε το κοριτσάκι όταν συμμετέχει έξω το σπίτι.
Μας περίμενε απ' έξω νομίζω.
Όντως, άρα γενικώς. Δεν το είδες με τα μάτια σου αυτό όμως.
Όχι, είναι ένα ασθενσέρ.
Αυτό, κάτσε.
Δεν θα τα λύσει. Μας ήμασταν του μισογράφου που
Τι είστε?
τις διπλοτσεκάρ. Ναι. Φίλες και φίλοι του Μπεταράδες, γεια σας. Έχουμε φτάσει στο Μιλάνο και είμαστε έτοιμοι να κάνουμε μια εκπληκτική συνέντευξη, ένα ημιντόκιου vlog εδώ με τον φίλο του Αριστοτέλη.
Ταξίδια στραπή για το Μιλάνο.
Για τον Φαμπρίτσιο Ρωμάνο. Here we go, Φαμπρίτσιο.
Hello guys, my pleasure to be here. Thank you for coming to Milano. It's my big pleasure to be here and to answer your questions.
You don't understand Greek, huh?
No, I don't understand Greek. I can help with English, Spanish, Portuguese, but with Greek not yet.
How was this Here we go motto came?
It was random. I like it because it was completely decided with the people on Twitter. It was not something that I planned maybe with an agency or marketing, not at all. I was just tweeting every single day, I remember, on a Manchester United transfer, but I don't even remember which one because it was many years ago, like 5-6 years ago. And so every day I was giving my updates, like saying the contract, the negotiation was a very slow negotiation. And then I remember the final day I said, okay, here we go, the deal is done now. And all the people was kind of excited. And so the following days, they started to tell me, please, can you say here we go also for Man City, Liverpool, Tottenham, Arsenal? And so I said, okay, why not? Let's try. And so I said 1, 2, 3 more times. And then it started to be something like part of my tweets, of my social media shares. And this is how it started.
Do you enjoy how people are waiting for this?
Yes, honestly, I enjoy it because it's a big pleasure for me. You can feel the passion, you can feel the importance of your tweet, and so of course it's a big pleasure. It's also responsibility, so it's bringing you the maximum attention every single time you are doing a tweet, a post, a story. Is really, really important to be accurate, and so I know how important it is to say here we go. So I love it, but at the same time, it's big pressure, it's big responsibility. So you have always to be on point.
There is no room for mistakes, huh?
No way, no way. But it can happen because it's part of the human side of the transfer stories. Many times you can say, okay, we have a deal, and then after 2 minutes, a player can change his mind, and it's not in my power to sign contracts. I always say, unfortunately.
So here we go means done. The deal
means
done.
the deal is done. The deal is agreed. Then it doesn't mean that it is signed in all the cases because we know that maybe when it's signed, it's already official. And so I try to arrive before the official statement. But sometimes can happen that deals are done and then they change their mind or there is a problem in the medical tests. Many things can happen. But I think this is the beauty of the transfer market, that even when it's done, it's not done at all because there are the medical tests, the documents, the lawyers. And so I think this is why people love the transfer market. Otherwise it would be boring and would not be this kind of excitement.
Yes, and the most reliable source is the agents, is the presidents, the players.
It depends really case by case. There are directors who lie and directors who always say the truth. There are players who maybe are too young to understand the situation, and so maybe they tell you something, but they are just getting excited and they don't know how really things are going. And there are players who are very well informed. Maybe they are 30 years old and so they can tell you how really things are going. There are many different kind of stories. It really depends story by story. I usually speak to a lot to agents because agents are the most interested to leak things more than clubs that sometimes protect the story. But then I always check with clubs or with player side because it's important to make sure that everything is correct.
You have said that you're trying to become friends with directors, with agents, and this is vital.
Yes.
But do you feel sometimes maybe part of the system? The market?
No, I think no. I think I see many times people are saying that when they see maybe big stories, big scoops, but honestly, if you mean part in the sense that people read my stories and maybe decide how to react, maybe the directors to things happening, this can happen, but not just with me. I think it's with papers, with other big journalists. So of course I can have big numbers on social media, but in general, journalism is attracting people to see what's happening in your world, and then you react or you decide your strategy. So in that sense, yes, but I don't feel to be like involved in the stories in the sense that I have the power to change something. I don't feel that. Maybe it's the reality, but I don't feel that, honestly.
Do you feel maybe sometimes used by directors or to increase the value of a player? Or something
No,
like
this not at all, honestly, because I never post about a player when there is not a story. I just post on a player when I want to post on a player. So if I'm at a game or I'm following a game or watching a game on my home and I see a player I like, I tweet about him because I get excited about that player, not because the director calls me and tells me push that player or push the other. I would never do that. Also because it's my face. If I say, look what a fantastic player he is, and then he's a terrible player, then people would say, you're a terrible scout. Maybe you can be a good journalist, but a terrible scout. So I would never do that.
Let's talk with names, because
Yes.
we are like a lot the stories.
Yes.
Which was your bad mistake, your biggest mistake?
I think there were some, more than mistakes, wrong stories in the sense that things can change. For example, Leo Messi renewing the contract with Barcelona was something absolutely done. Messi was in Barcelona with his family to sign the contract. The official statement was ready on the Barcelona website for the night to say, okay, we have Messi for 5 more years. It was done, 100% done. Then they meet, they have problems with La Liga. In that case, it's La Liga rules, financial fair play that is not in my power at all, but not just mine, journalists in general. All the world in journalism said Messi is going to extend the contract because it was the reality. It was done. But also Messi himself said many times, I was there to sign, and then it collapsed. So it was a mistake, but I can't control La Liga rules. I knew that Barcelona were saying we have an agreement. Messi was saying we have an agreement. We meet on Wednesday to extend the contract. Then he goes there and he can't sign. So that one was a...
Here we go, classic here we go.
Yes, in that case was not here we go, but was just like saying Messi is going to extend the contract, and then it didn't happen. But for me, it was not a problem, honestly, on my side, because I want to feel okay with myself, to say I did my best and I told people what's the truth. Then if things change because of external factors, again, I can't sign the contracts, I can't shake hands with directors or presidents, so it's not in my power. Also when, for example, Wijnaldum had to go to Barcelona on a free transfer, free agents are really dangerous because they can sit here, say, yes, I'm coming to your club, and then 2 minutes after receive another proposal, so change your mind. So free agents are always dangerous. And Wijnaldum was a free agent. He had an agreement with Barcelona. Barcelona medical staff was already traveling to the Dutch national team to have the medical, to do the medical. And then Wijnaldum called them in the night and saying, I have a new bid from PSG. The salary was 3 times better. And he said, I want to go to PSG. I'm sorry. In that case, I said, here we go, but it was done. He was having the medical with Barcelona. And then stories change. That's it.
And your biggest success? The one that you will never forget?
Honestly, I think this Mudryk story was one of the best. The first one I want to mention, Zidane leaving Real Madrid. For me, that was very good because I still remember that news gave me the feeling like, okay, I can arrive at really big level because it's Zinedine Zidane is not a normal name or a normal player or a normal manager in football, and Real Madrid. So that kind of power is only when you speak about super names and super clubs. And breaking the story of Zidane deciding to leave Real Madrid was really big for me. It was unforgettable, that feeling to mention these names. I was thinking, I was watching Zidane in TV with my dad when I was 12 or 13, and now...
In Naples?
Yes, in Naples. And also I told you this many stories, but this Mudryk story, the last one, the feeling was incredible because all the world thought that it was done with Arsenal, really done. And so to share the exclusive news and saying Chelsea are trying to hijack the deal, in these cases is mad for a journalist to feel how people react, to feel how things are going to change in 24 hours. It was very fast. And so this was a very, very big one.
So it's true that Maurice Icardi transfer became and helps to become you.
Yes, it started my career. Yes, it started my career. Yes. It was a bit random, I would say, because I was really no one in the industry. I was like 17, I think, 16 or 17. I was just writing on a small website here in Italy just to try and to see, okay, I want to do journalism, but let's see if I like it. So it was just kind of trial. And and an agent contacted me, a small agent working for young players in Barcelona, but at that time was not like now that young players are already celebrated everywhere. Social media were almost nothing, so it was about websites, and so it was difficult to watch young players. And he told me, if you can do an article about these two players, Mauro Icardi and Gerard Deulofeu, for me it would be important also to show to the players that I'm doing my best to publish them in the press. And this is what I did, and then he helped me with the news of Mauro going to Sampdoria, and then from Sampdoria to Inter was a very big story here in Italy, and this is why for me was like the key moment.
The turning point.
Yes, exactly, turning point to say, okay, now I want to do this.
Θα πάρουμε από εδώ κάτι. Κάτσε να δούμε τις τιμές, ρε. Γιατί η κολόνη. 3.300.
Έλα, εντάξει.
Έλα ρε.
Μια χαρά.
Φόρσα. 3.300. Θέλω να πω για την πλατεία που είδαμε πριν ότι είναι λίγο καλύτερη από την Αριστοτέλους. Λίγο καλύτερη. Εντάξει, μην μειώνουμε και τα δικά μας πράγματα.
Καλά, μην τα ρίχνει να γίνει και Αριστοτέλους κάτι τέτοιο.
Ναι.
Αν η μετατόπιση και την έβαζαν κάπου πιο κεντρικά.
Και δεν είχε τρεις δρόμους.
Δρόμους να τη σκίζουν.
Ναι.
Αυτό.
Τι συγκρίνατε, ρε.
Αριστοτέλους με πιάτα του ώμου.
Λοιπόν, πήραμε τα μαγικά χαρτάκια. Ξήρθαμε που ήρθαμε στο Μιλάνο. Δεν είδαμε τίποτα. Μόνο τον Ντόμο. Δεν θα μπούμε στη γηπεδάρα.
Παντού το σήμα της Ίντερ βλέπω, ανύπαρκτη Μιλάνο.
Δεν μπορούσε να γίνει αυτό στην Ελλάδα, πιστεύω ποτέ.
Το Άκα.
Καλά, ρε παιδιά, δεν είναι το ίδιο τώρα. Το Άκα είναι σαν το γήπεδο που πήγαμε στη Γλασκόβη, το Celtic Park. Που παίζουν οι μεγάλες.
Hampton.
Το Hampton Park, συγγνώμη, ναι.
Is there any Milan fans?
Yes.
Με οτιδήποτε μπορώ να ζήσω χωρίς αυτά τα άδινα για να πάρω αυτή τη φανέλα. Για να είναι φορεμένη του Ζανέτη με υπογραφές και τα λοιπά. Δηλαδή έπουσε. Αυτό είναι το αυθεντικό τρόπαιο.
Λόγω των 5 κατακτήσεων της Μίλαν.
Το μουσείο είναι χωρισμένο. Από εκεί είναι Μίλαν, από εδώ είναι Ίντερ. Δεν γίνεται να δεις μόνο τη μία ομάδα, πρέπει να δεις και τα δύο. Φίγκο, Ζαμοράνο. Αυτό είναι μοναδικό και στην ιστορία εγώ δεν θυμάμαι ποτέ άλλο. Μόνο ο Ζαμοράνο το είχε κάνει αυτό. Και ο Σάλας, νομίζω αυτοί οι δύο. Είχε βάλει το συν, το 1 συν 8, επειδή το 9 ήταν πιασμένο. Για να κάνει 1 συν 8, 9 έβαλε.
We should inform our audience that you have only one phone. And
Yes, only this one.
only one phone. How do you treat your phone?
I have many power banks. This is the secret. One phone, but many power banks. So I'm always charging my phone. But I can't control many things, you know. I'm not a big fan of having many things. But also, I'm like this in everything in my life. Also with my friends, many people tell me, maybe you have a team of 50 people tweeting for you, I don't know, posting on Instagram. No.
So you're alone. You're alone. You don't have nobody.
No one can enter in my social media accounts. No one can use my name and write an article or maybe do a post on social media.
You are actually typing.
Yes, always. I'm always typing. But I would never allow, not even my best friend or best colleague to do a tweet or a post or any other thing in my name. Because in transfer market, if you change one word, you can change the whole sense of the story. And it's a matter of respect from me to people following me, to give them my best, but also is to myself. I like to be always in control of the story, in control of the situation, in control of the relationship with people in football. So I would never do that.
And your family, your friends, what they do about this? I imagine, I assume that they are telling
your girlfriend?
No, I don't have girlfriend, of course, because otherwise was not possible. So 3 years ago, I told her, I'm sorry, but it's not possible. Leave because yes. It was
for your own good living.
Exactly. No. For my friends, they understand because we work together. They maybe work for different media or things, but they are in journalism, and so they understand how I am. They also are my historical friends. My very big friends are always the same. Yes. Yeah, so they know how is my life. They respect that, and they are part of it now. And my family understands. My family understands. Also, they are in Naples. I'm in Milano, so I'm not spending a lot of time with them. But when I go there, I try to be a bit more free. For example, I always pick weekends when there is no football, maybe in March, in April, when there is the international break. I go there and say, okay, I can stay a bit more relaxed.
Do you turn your phone off? Do you do this?
No. My phone off is impossible. But I think the perfect example about that, many people think, okay, but maybe you can relax in October, in November, more or less, because the perfect example was Cristiano Ronaldo terminating his contract with Manchester United, day 22 of November, 29.
Yes, before World Cup.
Completely out of the window, completely out of the window. So it shows that it's Cristiano Ronaldo and it's Manchester United is a big story. One of the biggest of the last 5-6 years happened in November, not in August, in July or in January. So when they say, Fabrizio, when the market is opening, I always say, because it closed, I didn't know. Because now with the contract extensions, with all this stuff, it's always open. It's always.
I think Ronaldo made this on purpose from you.
Yeah, probably. I was on holiday with one of my friends and I spent the whole day on phone, but it's normal. For me, it's normal.
So now you are a journalist, but in specific kind of journalism, transfer market, let's say.
Yes.
So is there a competition in this kind of journalist?
Of course, there is competition because I think when you are kind of fighting for a news, it's normal to feel competition. For me, I always say that this kind of journalism is not a race. So for me, to be first is important, but it's not the main priority. For me, the main priority is to be first and accurate. So this is my mission every single time. I'm not in a race. And so I respect all the journalists when they are respectful. So I have many friends and colleagues all over the world. Can happen sometimes that someone is not appreciating your job. I think it's normal, it's absolutely normal, but at the same time, for me, it's not a competition. I never felt it as a competition, but I don't say that because of the million followers. I was thinking the same when I was on a small website. For me, it's a competition in the sense that I want to be first, but I also want to be accurate, and so I'm not just fighting you because I want to destroy you. I want to give all people following me the best news possible. That's it.
So you don't have a rival like Real Barça?
No.
It's Romano and?
No, for me,
you are the king of...
Every time, for example, I see, no, but I don't feel I'm the king. Yes. I think there are many great journalists in all the countries. This is why it would be stupid to compete with people who are maybe thinking of only one club every single day. For example, I don't know, about Barcelona, there is Gerard Romero, who is doing an incredible job. He's only working about Barcelona, so how you think you can compete with him? Sometimes you can be first because it can happen, but it's normal that he's following the day by day of Barcelona, and so on Barca, you can't compete, and he's a very good friend. And for me, it's a pleasure if he breaks a story. I'm not like Gilus. I'm happy for him because I know he's a good guy. Or maybe sometimes people on Twitter put me and David Ornstein in competition from The Athletic. They think, Fab is better, no, David is better. But for me, he's a fantastic guy. I really have a great relationship with him. And if he breaks a story, I'm really happy. For me, it's not a problem. I'm in competition to give people all the best, but I can't pretend I'm first on all the stories in the world.
But it's impossible.
It's impossible. It's not
human.
First
in everything.
Exactly. It's not human. So sometimes it's you, sometimes it's another, but I just try to be accurate because you can be always accurate. You can be always first, but you can be always accurate. This is the big
Firstly, respect your job, and then the outcome will come. You have millions of followers and subscribers.
Yes.
How do you handle criticism and the social media attacks? Because I assume that they are happening.
Yes, it's happening, especially on Twitter, I have to say. On other social media platforms like, I don't know, Instagram, YouTube, and many others is more relaxed, I feel. On Twitter is really toxic sometimes. Sometimes it's not easy because I always want to reply. No, I like the exchange in life. I'm not a big fan of being like behind a fake account saying something negative.
Which is the reason of the toxic...
I'll give you an example. The Mudryk story, the last one I covered. Many Arsenal fans were furious saying, no, you were just involved in the story. You are getting a commission from people. These kind of stories, for me, is really toxic, but makes really no sense because people don't understand that I don't care where the players are going. For me, the only important point is to make sure that the story is correct. This is what I always try to explain. So when someone with a name and with a face comes and says, Fabrizio, I don't like you because you did this or that, For me, fine. I say, okay, I give you my phone number, let's speak, we explain. If you like it, okay. If not, it's life. But if people go with fake accounts, and it's always on Twitter, because really on other social media, it's not like that. For example, the other day for the Mudryk story, an Arsenal fan, I was checking the chat I had with him, because sometimes I reply to people on my social media. I was checking the chat and he was texting me like since 4 years, every single time, Fabrizio, this is true, this is fake, can I ask you? I was always replying every single time. It was nice, he was telling me happy birthday, so it was normal. As with many others, I always try to reply to some people, all people, impossible. And then, out of nothing, because of the Mudryk story, Fabrizio, I hate you, no, you get money. I said, after 4 years, I don't even know who you are. I reply to you to every single question. Now you come here and say, no, you are getting, how stupid that can be.
Block.
Yes, no, I'm not even blocking. I'm not even blocking, because I don't want people to feel like, I am the king, you are small. It's not like this. It's just respect. You can not appreciate me, but respect.
But there is a question that many people, I assume, that made to you. The next level, the next step for you is to become an agent.
No, they always ask me this, but
yes.
At the moment, I'm not planning to be an agent at all. I'm not planning to be a director at all. I don't want to do this. I know that all the friends I have right now in football would become my first enemies if I change, because it's like this. So you have to be really ready to big fights, big pressure. And I'm already living under big pressure, positive pressure, because football is journalism, so it's nice work. But there is also a lot of pressure. And so I'm already living with pressure since I was 17, 18, and I don't want to restart the fight. So not at all. I think the real mission is to understand when you are great in something, is to understand when you have to stop and change a bit your work. This is it's for a football player, I think.
Yes.
When the football players retire and they are 44 in third division, I think it's terrible. When they retire at top level, this is the real mission. So I don't know when, but I will not continue forever with this, or maybe go in another place. I will maybe do something more relaxed.
This is for Cristiano Ronaldo and Messi.
You said that's for Ronaldo.
No, I appreciate Ronaldo, because going there for that money, probably I would do the same. So I'm not going live.
Who wouldn't?
Exactly.
Okay, as you know, we are from Greece.
Yes.
So what's your opinion about Greek football?
Yes, I think the passion is incredible. Every time I see all the games, of course, of Olympiacos, Panathinaikos, ICAP is incredible. It's really incredible, the passion you can see. It reminds me of also of Turkish football. So when I see that kind of football, it is really appreciated how the passion is strong, even if big players are not always coming to those places. But when you see the passion of the fans, it's not about the players, it's about the badge, it's about the shirt. And this is what I really love, because I'm from Italy, as you know.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
We're
for
very
us,
similar,
the passion is very big. And so when I see passion, I love it. South American football, Greek football, I love it.
Do you remember Here We Go related to Greece?
Yes, I remember
team?
with Olympiacos, something with Olympiacos. Honestly, I don't remember the player. Maybe it was... No, it was not Kasami. It was another one, but was with Olympiacos. Yes, because they have the same owners of Nottingham Forest,
Yes,
for
yes.
the Marinakis
The same
family.
president, yes.
Yes, and so
Owner.
Yes, exactly. And so for me was also a good connection, because of course I'm in good connection with Nottingham Forest, as it's an English club, and so sometimes they exchange players. So it was about that.
Now we have Marcelo, we have Bernard. In Greek
Marcelo
football.
was a big
James?
ego.
Yeah. James.
I forgot Marcelo, James.
Rodriguez?
That's why. Yes. No. They were very big names. Also, I think for the James deal was very big, because James is a player who is attracting an incredible number of people in the world. The numbers of James are incredible in South America, in Spain, all over the world. So James Rodriguez is, I think, was a very big one.
Are there any Greek players on the transfer lists of elite clubs?
It depends. I think football is always about cycles, you know? Things change and you have positive moments and normal moments. So in this moment, I think there are not so many Greek players in the list of top clubs, but many good players. For example, I was mentioning Giacomakis, who has been approached by many clubs around Europe, Sampdoria in Italy, Cadiz in Spain, also Urawa to go to Japan and try different kind of opportunity, but also in MLS, some club approached him. So there are some good players, but I always think that football changes. Of course, I'm Italian, we didn't make the World Cup 2 times in a row, but we won the Euros. You see how strange can be football, and maybe in a few years we will have a different generation. So it's always about that. It's always about the generation, and I'm sure for the Greek young players there is always a big spot because of what they did in their history, like winning, of course, the Euros, many talents coming to big European clubs. Here in Milano, I remember still Karagounis doing great with Inter, was a player who has always been loved by Inter fans because he did very, very well.
You don't remember Choutos?
Of course,
you remember?
not Cross Koutos, of course I do.
Okay.
Yes, I have
Georgatos?
Yes,
of
I
course,
have a question.
Grigoris Georgatos,
Yes.
I remember him.
I have a question to say some names, Greek football players.
Yes.
Georgatos.
I remember very well Georgatos, right back, no?
Left back.
Left back,
Yes.
yes.
I would like your opinion from Georgatos, for example. How was?
Man, I remember all these players because they were playing with Inter. Was a very big moment for Italian football in general. Milan were super strong those years, also Juventus. Inter had many big names like Recoba, Ronaldo, Vieri, Adriano. Was a moment where the Italian clubs had many important players. Georgatos, I think he was a very good one. He's always been appreciated in Italy. But you know, in Italy, people love when the player are focused on football, are giving their best for the shirt. Then you can't be Roberto Carlos or you can't be Maradona. But if you give your best for your shirt, you will always be respected. And players like Georgatos, players like Karagounis, you can feel that they give you your best. Then people will attack you in Italy if you're not playing for the shirt. You're just getting the money. They are not like this. So this is why there is always big respect.
A quiz. Do you remember which is the name of the, I think, the only Greek goalkeeper that...
Nicopolidis. No.
In Italy, that plays in Italy.
In Italy.
Played in Italy.
Good question. The only Greek goalkeeper. Two?
I think it's two. It's
Was
Eleftheropoulos.
Eleftheropoulos, I remember.
And
yes, with Messina.
Jorvas also. Yes, Jorvas. Yes,
Jorvas,
correct.
yes, it's true. But
Also
Carneses, yes.
Carneses. Napoli, why many? Napoli, too many.
So when you hear a Greek football, which team pops in your head first?
Olympiacos. Honestly.
Why is this?
Now is Olympiacos. When I was younger, it was AEK Athens or Panathinaikos more than Olympiacos. Now is Olympiacos. I think now because it's the big names. No, we mentioned Marcelo, James Rodriguez. In the past, I remember some Italian players going to AEK, for example, Sorrentino, the Italian goalkeeper, playing there. I was speaking with him about the passion in Athens, and I still remember his great words about that. But also with Panathinaikos, many players joined the club. So this is why. But now I would mention Olympiacos because I told you the big names. Marcelo is a very big name too.
Huge,
he won the most
global name.
Exactly. Most titled player with Real Madrid is not normal one.
So we had more Greek players in Serie A. We had Papastathopoulos.
Yes.
Socrates, Fetfadzidis.
Of course.
Kone.
I don't know. I remember very well. Panagiotis Kone was doing great. Yes.
And of course Traianos Delas.
Of course, the centre back at Roma.
Yes.
I remember him very well. No, but many players. But as I mentioned, all the names you said, they always respected the shirt. And this is something that in Italy we really appreciate. I think it's about Greek people, always to give their best, always to give and to show their passion. This is what people in Italy always respect a lot.
Okay, let's talk about some things that are happening right now.
Yes.
How much truth is there to the rumors that Chelsea are interested in signing Marcus Thuram after they recently secured the loan signing of Felix and Mudryk?
Yes, after Felix and Mudryk, of course, the situation is a bit different also because the player has to decide. They had contacts, Chelsea and Marcus Thuram, before signing Joao Felix and Mudryk. Now Chelsea have to decide if they want to sign one more player in that position or if they want to stay like this and maybe focus on a midfielder. My feeling is that they want to focus on a midfielder now. So Thuram was an opportunity because he's out of contract with Borussia Mönchengladbach. He's not extending the contract. This will not happen. So he has many possibilities as free agent in the summer. So he has to decide if he wants to move now, paying some money to Borussia, or in the summer. But at the moment, my feeling is that Chelsea, after Joao Felix and Mudryk, will focus on the midfield.
Εδώ νομίζω ο Καρακούνης και τόσο είναι.
Γι' αυτό και είναι τόσο μεγάλη, γιατί είναι πολλοί παίκτες, πολλοί δημοσιογράφοι, οι οποίοι κάθονται πίσω. Δηλαδή, οργανωμένα πράγματα, ωραία πράγματα.
Milan doesn't have a fixed place for the players today. But in the past, when they had a lot of Brazilians on the squad, they used to sit on that corner.
Βάζω 5 ευρώ, ότι τα αποδείγματα της είναι καλύτερα.
Βάζω 5 ευρώ ότι είναι ακριβώς τα ίδια.
Τραγικό να έχει.
Δεν είναι, δεν μ' άρεσε.
Να μην φαίνονται όλες τις θέσεις από όλα τα σημεία, δηλαδή να κρύβονται κάποιοι, ας πούμε, από το.
Να.
Καταρχάς έχουν λόγια για τους παίκτες, ναι.
Απλώς δεν μου αρέσει αυτός ο πάγκος.
Αλλά
δεν έχει θέσεις. Σε σύγκριση τα δύο αποδυτήρια, περιμέναμε να είναι τα ίδια, διαψευστήκαμε. Υπάρχει μια φιλοσοφία όπως από αυτό. Η Μίλαν ουσιαστικά επικεντρώνεται σε κάθε παίκτη ξεχωριστά. Και η Ίντερ είναι όλοι οι παίκτες μαζί.
Κοιτάξτε, Hall, να το πούμε έτσι, που οδηγεί στα αποδυτήρια της Ίντερ είναι πολύ ωραίο. Αυτό δεν το έχει η Μίλαν. Αλλά μέσα τα αποδυτήρια της Μίλαν είναι λίγο πιο εντυπωσιακά.
Ωραίο, αλλά φάγαμε κρύο, κάνει πολύ κρύο. Το γήπεδο είναι παλιό, εντάξει, δεν με έχει ξετρελάνει κιόλας. Εντάξει, τώρα όταν μαζεύεις και εμπειρίες πολλές από πολλά γήπεδα, κάπου ανεβαίνει και ο πύχης σου, κατάλαβες. Ή η πύχης. Ναι, αλλά να δούμε, εντάξει. Θα ήθελα να το δω και γεμάτο.
Αμάν.
Εδώ λέει είναι πολύ κοντά στο γήπεδο. Ουσιαστικά μέσα στο γήπεδο κάθονται οι παίκτες που είναι εκτός αποστολής και κάθονται οι οικογένειες των παικτών, όπως και κάποιοι φίλοι, παιδί μου, προσκλήσεις κτλ. Δεν μπορείς να αγοράσεις εισιτήριο εδώ. Μόνο πρόσκληση.
So, Leandro Trossard is being frozen out by Roberto De Zerbi.
Yes.
Which clubs have a chance to get him?
I think it's going to be an opportunity for many clubs. For example, Tottenham explored the situation because he's a very good player. He's available on the market now. And so Tottenham had some conversations with Brighton, but at the moment it's still not something advanced. Let's see if Arsenal will be interested after this Mudryk story. I think these days will be crucial to understand what Arsenal will do to react to the Mudryk story, because now we already have many names, but the reality is that Arsenal today, tomorrow, in the next days, they will discuss about the situation internally, and then they will decide about who is the right winger. But I would mention Tottenham at the moment as the club most interested to signing Trossard. Let's see if they will go with an official bid.
What is the status about Enzo Fernandez? Chelsea, Liverpool, Benfica?
I think there is a very good chance for him to stay at Benfica. It's a crazy story because Chelsea were really close to signing Enzo Fernandez, but was never a done deal because speaking Chelsea and Benfica, they were discussing about the value of 120 million euros. Then what happened is that Chelsea, in a meeting with Benfica, in the final meeting, they decided to offer 85 million euros and not 120. Also to include some players as potential loan. Benfica were furious, so they broke the deal. And so now who wants Enzo Fernandez has to pay 120 million euros in one solution. No installments or these kind of things. Go there and pay the clause, otherwise the player will
One
stay.
off, 100.
Yes, Chelsea at the moment are not back in this kind of conversations. I will keep an eye on Moses Caicedo of Brighton, who is really appreciated by Graham Potter. And at the moment, for all the other clubs, Liverpool and the others, we have to see in the summer, because I think Enzo in the summer will have a very big chance to.
So, a man who has been linked to a move to the Premier League this window is Memphis Depay. Do we have something new?
It's a possibility because he wants to leave. He 100% wants to leave Barcelona, and he will leave Barcelona in January. This is what I'm told. So Memphis will go. Memphis will have a new possibility. What I heard is that Atletico Madrid is his priority. Atletico are looking for a player to replace Joe Felix, and so Atletico Madrid are now focused on Depay. They are trying to speak to Barcelona to find a solution because, of course, Barca would not give the player to another Spanish club, but there is a conversation ongoing. Atletico Madrid, Barcelona. Barca also spoke to Inter about Memphis Depay over potential swap deal, but at the moment it's not an easy one. For English clubs, let's see if they will appear. I also saw many links with Manchester United, but after signing Weghorst, I think Man United will not sign any other striker.
So let's talk a little bit about Arsenal. They lost Mudryk. Is there any name that can join the Arsenal? Declan Rice, Tielemans?
Yes, Declan Rice, I don't see him moving in January, honestly. I think he will stay at West Ham. They are in a difficult moment, so they want to keep him and then let him leave probably in the summer. Tielemans remains a player in the list. He's a player they appreciate. They always been appreciating him, also last summer. Then they decided to try for Douglas Luiz from Aston Villa, but was not successful. For Tielemans, I think it's pretty clear. The player wants to wait and go on a free in the summer. So this is the priority. Let's see if Arsenal will try to attack the situation and sign him now. But at the moment, the focus is on strikers, wingers. And so after Mudryk, who was the top priority, I think now they have to find a player in that position more than a midfielder as of now. And then maybe in the final days, a new midfielder.
Is the Chelsea the king of this transfer window? Because, okay, we already has a lot of players, but are also said to be waiting up a bid of Brighton midfielder Caicedo.
Yes, they want Caicedo, it's true, but at the moment, let's see if Brighton will let him leave. You know how tough it is to negotiate with Brighton. We saw also with Cucurella deal in the summer. To answer your question about Chelsea, I would say they had an incredible January window, this is for sure. Then we have to see the results, because in football it's not just about signing players, but also to have the right team, the right mentality. For example, I love what Arsenal are doing on the market, that they are never in panic. When things happen, like with Vlahovic, with Locatelli, with Rafinha, with Lisandro Martinez, all players they wanted. Then other clubs were jumping in, they were never in panic. They were always controlling the situation. So this is, I think, why Arsenal are first in the Premier League. At the same time, it's important to say that Chelsea are investing big money. They're investing in top players, in top talents. And so, yes, they are the king of the January transfer window, but then there is the pitch also.
Newcastle has been linked with Milinkovic-Savic. Do you think that there is a possibility that Lazio would be willing to let him go?
No, I think Milinkovic-Savic will stay at Lazio until the end of the season. At the moment, this is the feeling. I see all these links with Newcastle. I think Newcastle priority is always Maddison from Leicester. He's a player they really love, and I think this will be the priority for them. I'm not sure it will be possible in January. Probably in the summer they will attack the situation again. But for Milinkovic-Savic, Lazio want more than 100 million euros. They want to extend his contract, and they don't want to sell him now. So at the moment, it's going to be very difficult one. But also, very good player, very underrated player, top player.
Yes. Also, we have the case of Gvardiol. Which club stands the biggest chance of getting his signature?
Now they are in an open race. Chelsea have been the big favorites for a long time because in the final 24 hours of the summer transfer window, they made a bid. 80 million euros plus 10 in add-ons, so 90 million euros to sign the player in June 2023. So to block the player formally and sign him in 2023. Leipzig said no, they decided to keep the player and to extend his contract, so nothing happened at the end. And so now the race is open because Chelsea are still following the situation, but they signed Badiashile as left-footed centre-back. Also other clubs are following him, Manchester City and Real Madrid are following Gvardiol. But the feeling is that Gvardiol will move in the summer and not in January.
And what about Depay? Where will he go?
Yes, as I mentioned, I think Atletico Madrid, Inter are two options. Atletico Madrid is the priority of the player. He would love to go to Atletico Madrid. Let's see if some English club will appear in the final days of the market. But at the moment, Atletico are the favorites.
Mm-hmm. So we have also Sofian Amrabat, one of the best players in the World Cup, and his brother is in AEK Athens in Greece.
Yes.
Nordin,
yes.
And was linked to Liverpool quite heavily. Will he be on the move for the Liverpool?
Honestly, I also saw these links, but I'm told that Liverpool never approached Fiorentina, not even with a talk, not with bids, but not even with a talk. So I'm sure they're following the player. I'm sure he's appreciated by Jurgen Klopp. But from what I understand, the club who is really pushing for Amrabat has been Atletico Madrid. Atletico Madrid really like the player. Simeone really likes the player. There is one problem. It's Fiorentina. Fiorentina stated in public the player is not for sale. They want more than 40 million euros to sell him. So it's not an easy deal at all. But for sure, in the final days of the market, something could happen.
Another player with excellent performances in the World Cup, Ounahi.
Yes.
What's going on with him?
Leeds want him. Leeds are thinking of Ounahi as a possibility, but now they have to decide if they want to invest big money again after investing 40 million euros, almost 40 add-ons included for Jorginho Rutter from Hoffenheim. So it's now on them to decide if they want to try also for Ounahi or not. And Napoli. Napoli made a bid 15 million euros for Ounahi. It's not enough to convince Angers, but Napoli would sign the player for the summer. So now for the summer, but not directly now. And this can help them to negotiate with Angers. So we will see.
So, Thomas Delaney has been rumored to leave Sevilla and go back to Copenhagen. Could that transfer happen?
This could be a possibility. Sevilla are changing many things. They have now Sampaoli as a coach, so they're changing many players like Januzaj, Delaney could be the next one. So it's a possibility. They are in conversations, and I would not be surprised if we see Sevilla changing many players in the final days of the market, maybe bringing in a new centre back too.
Okay, I would like to share with us a few words about Raiola and his legacy.
Yes, of course. For me, it's a pleasure always to speak about Mino. I always smile when I think about him because he was really not just a great agent, but also an incredible, funny person. So I remember many moments, also my life as a person, not just as a journalist, around the streets of Milano. I spent from when I was 18 to when I was 27, basically all day during summer and January around the streets of Milano. And Mino was like the big fish to catch, really difficult, like 1 or 2 times per year. But when you had the chance to meet with Mino, it was incredible. He was always funny. He was living the transfer market as, of course, a big industry and big business, but also like a big circus, I would say, with a lot of fun. We really miss Pino in football, but not just me as a journalist or journalists in general. I think all the people into the clubs, when we think about Mino, is always something positive. He was bringing positive energy, of course, sometimes with big fights with the club, but always to protect his clients. So I know that from outside, many people can think, Raiola was just trying to break relationship with the players. It's normal, but the reality is that Mino was a legend of the game and changed the game, changed the communication of the market, completely changed this world. So I will always have big respect for Mino.
της.
Παλιά θα σου έλεγα σκυλιά. Τα τελευταία χρόνια είμαι cat daddy.
Κατά βαβάς είναι μόνο ένας.
Εντάξει, τα πάντα σκυλιά, δεν έχω θέμα. Απλά είναι μεγάλη υποχρέωση.
Αυτό είναι σκυλί. Στράβα ρε, πού τα βλέπεις ρε.
Παπ και πίτσα έχει μαζί, αυτό δεν είναι καλό.
Και μπαπ και τι άλλο.
Αλλά αυτό δεν είναι τραγικό τώρα. Γιατί δεν τους κράζουν τους ταλούς. Ο Βασίλης πότε θα πάω.
Είναι σαν αυτό που κοιτούν για τους παξούς. Είναι κλειστά το μεσημέρι, από πού και ως πού. Θα τους αφήσετε να δουλεύετε όλη μέρα.
And a few words about the World Cup and all this situation with Qatar and with the Netflix documentary. And you didn't attend it?
No, I didn't. I decided after Italy were not at the World Cup to take some time to spend with my friends, with my family, and to watch the World Cup from here. So this was my personal decision because of Italy. I'm a big Italy fan, and so not being there was hurting me. And so I say they prefer to watch from far from Italy. And yes, of course, I see a lot of difficult situations around this World Cup, but I think it's not on me to say what was the situation around that. I think on the football point of view was a great World Cup with a lot of quality, with a lot of fantastic players involved, with an historical final. The final has been probably the best ever, with many top players, but also with a great spirit, I think, around the coaches, the teams. I always saw this kind of part of the game, and so I think it was a fantastic World Cup, honestly. Then on all the other stuff, I know the problems, but on politics is not on me.
If you had to guess, who will be the next record transfer?
Good question. I think can be Erling Haaland, honestly.
Haaland.
I think can be Erling Haaland. Yes, because it's Haaland and Mbappé, of course, the two big things in football now. But Mbappé has kind of short contract with PSG, 25. So it means that in maybe 1 or 2 years, it could be a big opportunity for a price that could be big, but not incredible. Of course, Haaland has a long contract with Manchester City, but there is also a release clause into his contract, and so can become another big one. I don't think that they will move next summer, so I think it's something that will be, of course, for the future. Also, the release clause of Haaland is not valid in 2023, but I would keep an eye on them as the two names that could make history again.
Is there a problem that also Kvaratskhelia or Haaland, their national team, are not on top level in order to make
increase
a big
their
transfer?
value,
Yes.
Yeah, sometimes yes, but I think for Kvaratskhelia, for example, is not going to be a problem because when you perform at this level in the Champions League, also not just in the Serie A, teams are going to pay big money. So I think Kvaratskhelia is going to be a really big name on the market. But for example, just to stay in Italy, also a player like Osimhen playing for Nigeria was not even at the World Cup. You can say maybe he's not with a big value, and this is not the case because I'm sure in the summer there will be many top clubs prepared to pay crazy money for Osimhen, more than 100 million euros, I think. So I don't see this kind of problem. And for Norway, I think they will do very well in the future because they have Haaland, they have Odegaard, who is doing fantastic with Arsenal. It's not just about football, also the leadership. This is going to help. And also they have many talents. Sheldrup, who's going to Benfica, I think is a top talent born in 2004. This guy, I think he will go to Premier League very soon. So there are many young players with the right mentality, and I think Norway will be at the next World Cup.
So the last question is, I would like to share your thoughts and your feelings about this photo. It's Zidane and Materazzi.
Wow. Good shirt. Good shirt. My feelings are mad, really. That was probably the best football night of my life.
Yes?
Yes, because to win the World Cup was insane. That team was insane. Materazzi is one of my favorite players ever. I'm a center back when I play with my friends five-side football. So for me, Materazzi was a legend. What happened that night with Zidane is absolutely mad. It was probably the first case of VAR in football before VAR. So it was absolutely mad. But honestly, that was incredible. For me, it was the best memory of my life in football because to see Italy winning, I still remember all the people going crazy. That team was special. If you think about the names from Buffon, who is still playing, to Totti, Del Piero, incredible names. So it's part of our history, and Materazzi also scored in that final.
Yes.
So
and also Zidane.
Exactly. So imagine how special was that night. And I still remember his celebration to his mother because here in Italy he was always accused by other teams, not Inter, but all the other teams accusing him and provocating him. But then scoring in the World Cup final changed his life and changed his story. So
Fabrizio, one last, can I ask you a favor?
Yes.
can you say subscribe to our channel to our viewers?
Of course.
Betarades.
Because
Subscribe to Betarades.
we have to inform our audience that Fabrizio has already the gold.
Yeah, over 1 million subs.
Yes, the gold award.
Yes. So guys, subscribe to Betarades. I wish them all the best. They are fantastic guys doing great work.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much,
you.
Fabrizio.
Thanks
Thanks a lot, man.
Say hello to the vlog part of our...
Hello. Ciao guys, here we go. Here we went.
Έχουμε βγει έξω από το σπίτι. Πάει παρατέταρτο και τα βγάζουμε όλα έξω.
Λες και τα πουλάμε. Εγώ θα πως βιάζεται.
Με ένα κινητό στο χέρι.
Ναι, όχι, πρέπει στο χέρι του. Πολύ καλός, παρότι βιάζεται πάρα πολύ. Εντάξει, δεν μας είπε. Φύγετε. Το έδειξε όμως.
Θα πάμε να φάμε στο στάμο τώρα. Κάτω.
Ξέρω πως είναι ο ύπνος στο τραμ.
Τραμ, δεν έχεις πει ποτέ ζωή σε τραμ.
Λέω και είχε αρρωστήσει.
Σήκωστε με το χέρι.
Ναι, καλησπέρα, δεν θα πληρώσουμε διόδια. Παππούς εκεί πέρα έχει πούντες, ρε, ελαττή.
Δεν ξέρω, πρέπει να πάμε να χωράσουμε κάτι. Δεν βγάζει τίποτα. Το πατάς και δεν βγάζει.
Όταν μπήκαμε όμως.
Ήταν ανοιχτό.
Ήταν ανοιχτό.
Έλα, δυνατό. Έρχεται το πέτασμα. I can't go out. When I came in, the ramp was open.
Now, okay. Tomorrow...
No. Τι είπα είναι η ιδέα.
Τώρα μπορούμε να βγούμε έξω. Αύριο δεν μπορούμε να βγούμε έξω.
Ο Ραφαήλ δεν είναι σαν παιδάκι.
Σαν παιδί το θρύλο μου.
Κάτσε λίγο να πούμε μέσα να είμαστε έτοιμοι.
Είχε ανοίξει την μπάρα και θα ξανακλείσει. Ισχύει.
Βασικά μου την έχει σπάσει ο καιρός πάρα πολύ. Τρελαίνομαι τώρα. Ιδανικός για τουρισμό, καταπληκτικός. Βλέπεις την πόλη, τη χαίρεσαι.
Δεν είναι αυτό που είδαμε.
Άλλο ήταν, ρε.
Μέσα στιγμής έχεις μπανίσει, έχεις λοκάρει 2 μπραντσάδικα. Το ένα το είδαμε. Πες μου λίγο παρακαλώ.
Αυτό είναι το δεύτερο. Το πρώτο ήταν ένα τσιλικατσίδικο.
Από τη μια πουλούσε κροασάν και από την άλλη πουλούσε φαρμακευτικά είδη και τσιγάρα.
Μπριός λέει εδώ. Ναι, όντως. Φαίνεται καλό. Φαίνεται ωραία λοκαλιά.
Εντάξει, decent.
Φαίνεται ωραίο.
Πότε θα έρθει στο δικό σου το συμφέρον κάτω ή το εγώ για να πεις ότι οκ, εντάξει, εμένα δεν με ενδιαφέρει. Καλός άνθρωπος.
Μόνο όταν θα μου χαλούσε τη μέρα. Δηλαδή όταν θα έκανα την υποχώρηση και θα έλεγα άντε.
Δεν θα ήταν με την καρδιά σου όμως πάλι.
Σε αυτά είναι λεπτομέρειες που είναι μόνο του γάμου, δεν ξέρω.
Δεν είναι θέμα γάμου, δεν στον άνθρωπο.
Μπορεί και αυτό κάποιοι να παντρεύονται και κάποιοι να μην παντρεύονται.
Εγώ τώρα μου έλεγες εσύ, σε παρακαλώ, δώσ' το μου, θα στο δίνω. Έλα, πάρ' το.
Δεν περιγράφεις το ίδιο πράγμα τώρα, άλλο λες.
Ναι, καμία σχέση.
Αυτό λέω. Λες να τρώω κάτι εγώ που μου αρέσει, η άλλη να τρώει κάτι που δεν της αρέσει, να μου πει δώσ' μου το δικό σου και να πάρω εγώ το άλλο.
Τρως εσύ, και λες, α, τι ωραίο το πιάτο σου. Τρώει και αυτή, τι ωραίο το πιάτο σου. Σ' αρέσει, σε ρωτάει. Και λες, ναι, μ' αρέσει το δικό σου, αλλά το δικό μου αρέσει καλύτερα.
Αυτό είναι χειρότερο.
Είναι πιο κομπλεξικό. Γιατί θέλω, επειδή σ' αρέσει πάρα πολύ να στο πάρω.
Υποχώρηση δεν θα κάνεις ποτέ στο κόμπλεξ. Δεν θα κάνεις ποτέ στο λάθος του άλλου υποχώρηση.
Θα κάνω υποχώρηση όταν θα βγω από την πορεία μου για να πάω να την πάρω. Θα φάω μια ώρα στον δρόμο για να την μαζέψω από κάπου για να μην ταλαιπωρηθεί. Θα της αγοράσω κάτι με. Το φαγητό δεν είναι ανάγκη να κάνεις υποχώρηση, φίλε. Είναι απόλαυση της ζωής. Για ποιο λόγο να υποχωρήσω. Μπορεί να γίνει και το εξής. Μπορούμε να παραγγέλνουμε, ξέρω εγώ, 2 πιάτα και να έρχεται εκεί πέρα και να λέει η κοπέλα. Να κάνει τα σκέφτομαι, ποιο να πάρω. Και όποια από τα 2 μένει να το παίρνει εσύ. Κάπως έτσι.
Να σου πω κάτι, εσύ με την κοπέλα σου θα της έδινες έστω μια μπουκιά, την τελευταία μπουκιά του πιο ειδονικού πράγματος που
Φίλε, την τελευταία μπουκιά δεν πρόκειται να την έδινα ούτε σε. Τι να σου πω.
Η μάνα σου μα σε γέννησε, μα λέει σε φέρει στη ζωή.
Μα με γέννησε, μα δεν σημαίνει θα φάει το φαγητό.
Πέρα την πλάκα, εντάξει. Εγώ τελευταία μπουκιά θα της έδινα. Της έδινα το φαγητό μου έτσι, για να δοκιμάσει. Για την κοπέλα υπάρχουν πολλές στιγμές που εκνευρίζω. Είναι πάρα πολλές στιγμές.
Όπως, ένα παράδειγμα.
Έχω πατάτες εγώ ή έχω κάτι που είναι ωραίο, ας πούμε. Και είναι μία επαναλαμβανόμενες φορές. Δηλαδή 1, 2, 3. Και αρχίζω και δεν σε ανασκετώ εγώ.
Αλήθεια τώρα. Εσύ δεν έχεις κάνει ποτέ το αντίστοιχο.
Όχι, γιατί αν αυτό που ήθελα να κάνω, εγώ κάνω αυτό που λες. Αν αυτό που μου πήρε μ' αρέσει, θα το πάρω εγώ. Αν έχεις. Σωρό. Για να δεις.
Έτοιμος για να αλλάξει το άξιο 24. Πάμε τώρα στο ότι παραγγέλνετε και οι 2 και αυτή παίρνει κάτι καλύτερο που σου δίνει να δοκιμάσει και της αρέσει. Δεν θα φας και δεύτερη μπουκιά. Δεν θα τη ζητήσεις.
Όχι. Εδώ strict, το λέω θα φάω 1 μπουκιά. Αν το δικό μου δεν μου αρέσει και δεν μπορώ να το φάω, που δεν συμβαίνει σε κρατάκι που να φάω, δηλαδή σε θεματζίδικα, μπέρκα, σε τέτοια, ό,τι και να φάω, τρώγεται. Δεν είναι αυτό. Θα το φάω.
Ένα ραντσίνι, αλλά το πήραμε για πρωί.
Το οποίο ραντσίνι να πούμε ότι είναι ωραίο. Γενικά.
Κακόμα, κάποιος θα παίζει έτσι. Εγώ το καταλαβαίνω. Όταν οι προσδοκίες σου είναι δόλες, έχω έρθει στο Μιλάνο, στη Μέγκα, ξέρω ότι πάστα, πίτσα και όλα αυτά. Και ρωτάμε και έναν Ιταλό γνωστό να μας πει πού να πάω. Έτσι λίγο γνωστό. Και πάμε κάπου που είναι κλειστά, έτσι. Πρώτη η κρυάδα είναι εκεί. Άμα το έριχνες και εσύ στην πλάκα, θα μπορούσε να το διασκεδάσεις λίγο προς το διασκεδάσεις.
Ξέρεις πώς την πλάκα το έριξα. Δεν κρίνιαζα σοβαρά να πεις ότι ήμουν. Το πιο ακραίο που έκανε είναι να φωνάξει τον άλλο 4 φορές. Τις 3 πρώτες μου έλεγε ναι και με έγραψε τα.
Είναι αυτό, λέει, εντάξει.